Atlanta Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station, and we're ready for event.
MSNBC, this is Houston. Please call the crew for a voice check.
Can you hear me, crew?
We hear you loud and clear.
Could I have you all just go through and say your names?
My name is Oleg Kotov.
Garrett Reisman. Oh, this is Ken Ham. Garrett Reisman. It's on.
My name is Alexander Skvortsov. Pierre Sellers and
Tracy Caldwell Dyson.
It's great to see all of you, and I'm Contessa Brewer at MSNBC. So, Ken, let me begin with you since you're upside down. This is your first time as commander here, Atlantis' last scheduled flight. How does that leave you feeling, knowing that you're coming back for the last time on Atlantis?
Well, it's a fantastic experience, and as a crew, what we're coining this flight is the first last flight of Atlantis, because obviously there is some potential for that great ship to fly again. But she served us very well so far. We're having a ball up here, and we couldn't be happier with her performance. And we'd like to say thanks again to the entire team that put her together, ready to fly again for us.
Tracy, you have been on the International Space Station since March, I understand, and we sometimes report on the problems that you encounter throughout your day. We had a generator go out just this week, but overall, it seems like you guys managed to deal pretty well with whatever challenges come up in front of you. How will that change once the American shuttles are not going back and forth to the International Space Station?
Well, I think NASA and our partners, we rise to the occasion, and whatever challenge comes our way, we've got lots of people, lots of bright people that are committed to making this work, and exactly how depends on the problem. But we still have vehicles coming up and down. It just puts our creative minds to work, exactly how we're going to best utilize those resources.
Well, for instance, the main mission for this Atlantis shuttle was bringing up a very large component for the International Space Station. Do you not foresee any sort of instance where you're going to need a component that's so big that it exceeds what the Russians can bring up?
Well, with the addition of MRM-1, that completes the station assembly as far as the large components go. And so there's nothing planned right now. But there's many spares on board. There's not much large-scale objects that fit in the payload bay that have been scheduled to come up. So I think that right now we're in a safe position.
Let me bring in Expedition 23 Commander Oleg Kotov. Oleg, I know that you're a medical doctor, and some of the experiments you're doing there have to do with the impact on the human body and what the human body is capable of withstanding in terms of stress in space. How do you predict that what you're working on there on the International Space Station might someday help humans?
Yeah, and I think it's huge and excellent science forepost in orbit, and really we provide this very good experiments, and that really helps people to live better on the Earth and also to travel far beyond in space. So that's pretty good laboratory, and especially for medical purposes, we have set of experiments and provide some biomedicine and medicine experiment here. So it's just a huge laboratory. Thank you.
So let me bring in mission specialist Piers Seller. Piers, I want to ask you, you have a PhD in ecology, and we've been seeing some incredible images from space of that Gulf oil slick. Can you just give me your perspective, having a background in ecology, what it's like for you to see that kind of ecological disaster?
Well, I got to report to my boss that I didn't see the oil slick because I was so busy working. I'm sorry to miss it, but we have seen it, on TV before we came up here. These things aren't good. When you fly around the planet a few times, you get to see the thumbprint of man all over the place. Most of it good, cultivation, cities, most of them clean, and sometimes bad. A lot of biomass burning and pollution. But we're optimistic. I think that people will eventually learn to look after the planet.
And by the way, what is that, Piers, on your leg? Is that a book that you're holding, strapping to your leg?
It's my brain. This is a notebook of everything my instructors tried to teach me before I left, and I couldn't remember it all, so it's all written down there. And some of it I can't read, but it actually gets me through the days. And we all have one. I'm the only one brave enough to wear it.
I'm sure it takes real talent to be able to find what you need in a heartbeat. All right, last question here to Garrett, the spacewalker out there. Have you managed to go out and have a sense of accomplishment? I mean, this is something I'm sure when you have grandchildren and great-grandchildren, this is going to be the story that Grandpa Garrett was out walking in space. It must leave you with such a feeling of accomplishment.
There is really nothing like it, I have to be honest with you. Spacewalking is, in my experience, the most outlandish thing I've ever gotten to do, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Actually, when I first became an astronaut, they looked at how short I am. I'm 5'4", and they when I talked about doing spacewalks, they laughed at me. And here I am today after having gone out there yesterday. And Steve and I really worked hard out there yesterday, especially Steve. He had the lion's share of the burden out there. And we managed to accomplish pretty much everything and then some that we set out to do. And we had some difficult moments. We had a connector that was stubborn. And one of the things I'll always remember is when we finally solved that problem and got that connector hooked up. It was a sense of elation that was difficult to describe, but I was glad to shake Steve's hand up there and share the moment. It was a good feeling.
It's such an honor for me to speak with you, incredible folks. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
Atlantis ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the MSNBC portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from Fox News Channel.
Misplaced words anytime that I misspeak. I can't be responsible for all the articles. I may not even have seen them. And I know that...
Hello, Team NASA. This is Fox New York. Can you hear us okay?
...this room, but sometimes journalists...
Okay, well, really loud and clear.
Thousands of them that are written about me.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Responsibility, but do you think you owe people an apology for having misspoken?
No. I regret that I misspoke.
Hello, Atlantis crew. This is Audio in New York. Do you hear me?
Yeah, really loud and clear.
Everyone is able to hear me?
He has seen your statement comments evolve to his worrying over time. He says that going back to when the two entered into politics roughly the same time, he remembers you
Great, thanks. Stand by.
very humbly and low-key about your service, saying very forthrightly that you didn't get your like a desk job, that kind of thing. He said as he began noticing you discussed servicing Vietnam, he says at the time, this was years ago, he says, he assumed that you had done legal work in Vietnam. He since found out that was not the case. You just used the word service in Vietnam. Assuming. Excuse me, you just used the word assume.
And this is the control room. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, we're ready. You're loud and clear.
Great. We're hoping to come to you guys in the next few minutes, 2 minutes.
Okay, copy.
Tell you, I speak routinely about my service during the Vietnam era to highlight that we dishonored and disrespected our military men and women and our veterans during that period. And we must do better now. We have learned an important lesson since those years, and it's the lesson that I highlight again and again and again and mention.
Atlantis ISS, this is Houston ACR. Fox News Channel will not be participating. We're going to hand you over to CNN. Stand by for a voice check from them.
Was heating up. I read the book and we discussed it thoroughly in our seminars. What really impressed me was that the book's authors were all my professors. I could question them on points they had made in the book. I didn't really plan on a career in journalism at the time. I thought perhaps of continuing on for a PhD or something like that, maybe get some college teaching underway, but I eventually fell into journalism after completing my MA, and it's been a wonderful ride ever since. I've been blessed with a front row seat to history covering America and the world. I get paid to ask world leaders tough questions. Can it get any better than that as a journalist? Funny how some world-class professors and graduate courses and a truly wonderful book can move someone in a specific direction. Once again, thanks very much for inviting me to be with you tonight. Sorry I'm not there, but by the magic of videotape, I am with you tonight, even as I am reporting on these election results to my viewers here in the United States and around the world. Is this an amazing country or what? All right. Atlantis ISS, this is CNN. How do you hear me?
Radio loud and clear.
Unpronounceable.
Thank you.
Magic of video.
All right, start the interview now? Okay. Okay, great. And joining us now, 6 astronauts. Kenneth Ham, he's the Space Shuttle Atlantis commander. Piers Sellers, the Space Shuttle Atlantis mission specialist. Tracy Caldwell Dyson, Expedition 23 Space Station flight engineer. Also joining us, specialist Garrett Reisman. He's doing the spacewalks. Oleg Kotov, Expedition 23 commander. He's one of the Russian cosmonauts. And Alexander Shvortsov, Expedition 23 flight engineer, one of the Russian cosmonauts. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Ken and Piers, let me start with you. What's it like up there right now?
Wolf, it's absolutely fantastic. The place is much bigger than last time I was here, which was only 2 years ago. I'm not sure why it feels so much bigger. Maybe it's the node and the cupola alone. The cupola is this large glass dome we have that looks down on the Earth. And being inside of there and seeing the entire horizon of the Earth all at once just makes this entire place feel bigger. And it's absolutely fantastic. We're having a ball.
Hey, Wolf, I was here 4 years ago, and this place was about 1/3 the size. And I got to tell you now, you can lose people in this place now. It's really huge. So if you came on up here, people probably wouldn't notice for a week.
let's talk a little bit about how it feels, and I'll have Tracy weigh in, to be on this last shuttle.
Well, actually, if I came up on a Soyuz, and I've been living on the space station for about 5 weeks before these guys got here. But I can tell you from the perspective of living here and seeing Atlantis and being inside of Atlantis as a station crew member, it's bittersweet, and it's also something that is I never anticipated being able to see each one of the shuttles before their retirement on board my tenure here on the space station.
This is the last Atlantis shuttle mission as we go forward. I also want to bring in Garrett Reisman. You actually do the spacewalks. How scared are you when you get out of that shuttle, out of that space station, and actually go outside?
I'm terrified, Wolf. Actually, the thing is, I'm one of 3 spacewalkers. The other 2 fellows are preparing to go outside tomorrow, so they can't be with us now. But it is something that we train really hard for. And the way I describe it is a strange combination of the familiar and the outlandish. And what I mean by that is we train so much in this big pool in Houston that when we're at our work site and we have our tools and we're looking at the bolts we're supposed to turn, it feels just like being in that pool, and we feel very comfortable, very familiar. But then you look over your shoulder and the whole world is flying by, and you can see the entire east coast of the United States in a single glance. And that is something you can't prepare for in a pool, and that is outlandish, and it is unbelievable.
I want to bring the 2 Russian cosmonauts into this conversation. Oleg, first to you. When you look out, are you able to see this oil spill that's engulfing some of the Gulf of Mexico right now? We spent a lot of time reporting on that. And are you also able to see any of that volcanic ash from the volcano in Iceland that's disrupting air traffic in Europe?
First of all, about the oil, I'm just 30 minutes ago we passed over the Mexican Gulf, and we took a lot of pictures of this oil spot on there, and believe me, it's very scared. That's not good, and that really feel not good about that. And so that's about the ash. Yes, we can see ash about the Europe. It's especially in the evening hours when there's a low angle of sun and we see the atmosphere is not clear as usual in this time of year. So, but we cannot see the volcano itself. But many ecological problems we can observe and monitor from this space station. For example, fires, some flooding, and some poisoning of nature. So it's very useful from this perspective. Thank you.
And Alexander, very quickly, when you see this cooperation with the Americans, you must be pretty pleased by this.
I am glad to work with American cosmonauts and astronauts, and I'm glad to work with shuttle's crew. And I know very good Ken Ham, and I am proud to work with him.
What about the rest of us? Well, we want to wish all of you a successful mission. We'll stay in close touch. We're very proud of all of you. Thanks very much for joining us here in the Situation Room.
Thank you, Wolf. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Atlantis ISS, this is Houston ACR. We've restored comm with Fox News Channel. Please stand by for a voice check from them.
Tom Hanks series in the Pacific. Hello, Atlantis. This is Fox New York. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear loud and clear.
Say that people spat upon me. All right, thank you very much. Stand by. My service, that's frightening.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of email coming in from our viewers who are actual veterans of foreign.
Atlantis crew, this is Fox Audio again. Can you hear me?
whether to say you served in Vietnam or during the Vietnam.
Yes, we're reading loud and clear.
Again, this is March of 2000.
Great, thank you. Stand by.
He says that he served in Vietnam. Just listen to it. Listen to it for yourself. Make your...
Hi, guys. This is Megan with Fox News. You're going to be speaking with Megan Kelly.
We have learned something very important since the days that I served in Vietnam, and you exemplify it. Whatever we think about the war, whatever we call it, Afghanistan or Iraq.
Well, there you have it. We'll leave it at that. You can make your own judgments. That man is fighting for his political future. And some believed, at least prior to this, that this would be the end of it, thanks to the New York Times report. What do you think? Let us know. Kelly at foxnews.com. Peter Johnson, Jr., thanks so much for being here.
Good to see you.
We appreciate it. Well, oh boy, do we have an extraordinary story to take you to. Now, we go from that to the most extraordinary interview of the day. As NASA's shuttle program winds down, the crew of the Space Shuttle Atlantis is enjoying the orbiter's last trip to the International Space Station. The crew today working very hard installing a Russian-built addition to the Space Lab, and they join us now live from the ISS. Shuttle Commander Ken Ham, Mission Specialists Piers Sellers and Garrett Reisman, and from the ISS crew, Expedition 23 Commander Oleg Kotov, and flight engineers Tracy Caldwell and Dyson and Alexander Sportska. Thank you so much all for being here with us. Greetings from Earth. Commander Ham, let me start with you. How would you describe the success of the mission so far?
Megan, we are absolutely thrilled. The launch was flawless. The rendezvous went well. We had a really successful spacewalk yesterday, and then the highlight of our mission so far was completing our primary mission, which was attaching the MRM-1 module to space station. And Garrett and Piers here did that today with the large robotic arm, and we successfully berthed it, and the space station is now larger.